foyer again, along with Jim Henrik here in Seattle as the final heat approaches. We took the drivers aside and asked them what will be their strategy for the final heat in the 7-Eleven Freedom Cup.
Well, the final heat, I've got to figure that the Tosti Asti, the Budweiser, and the Squire Shop are going to be the biggest competition. The way I see it shaping up is the Budweiser and the Squire Shop are going to fight for the inside. I put my money on Kropfeld to get it away from Riemann. I think Steve and the Tosti boat and myself with the Atlas van lines, I think we'll stay outside, stay out of trouble, protect our turbine engines, make sure that the turbines have good clean air to breathe with no water in it, and good clean water that we can really let the boats get out and roll.
Well, what we're really going to have to try to do with the Budweiser here, I believe, is that I can bog the thing down in the water pretty slow, and I can probably drop down to about 80 miles an hour. And I think I'm going to come around on the start real early, and I'm going to back off and just kind of idle around here barely on plane. And my idea is that these turbine boats, I know for a fact if you drop a turbine engine under about 90% power, it's going to bog down and they can't get it going again. And it might take a lap to get it cleared out. So my idea is if I can kind of suck them up into the start turn up here and get the Atlas and the Miller boat, whoever's going to be out here, I'm going to bring them up here early. That's probably be our best chance if the Atlas and the Tosti are running like they were in Detroit and Madison, where they went out and broke all kind of course records and lap records. That's probably going to be my strategy, I think. Just got to kind of outfox them before the race because they can outrun me during the race.
Well, where I'd like to be at 30 seconds before the start of the race, I've got to make sure that everything in my machine is playing right, and I've got the rest of the competition sized up. I'm going to make the assumption that all the fast boats have survived most of the preliminary heats and we're in the final. The advantage that I have with a turbine engine is that I don't really care whether I'm on the inside, lane 2 or lane 3. This Tosti does so many things so well, I'm content to take any one of those positions just so long as I can hit that starting line, flat out, running as fast as I can run, right on the money.
All right, Steve, let's look at the rundown then. A great matchup, at least between the top 3 boats, the Bud, the Atlas, and the Tosti. At the American Speedy Printing Camp, driver Ron Snyder signing a few autographs. Our final heat is just moments away. Stay with us. The final heat is upon us. Chip Hanauer with a last-minute hug from an adoring fan. Steve Reynolds in the Tosti Asti shaking hands with owners Steve Woomer, Danny Walters, the crew member. Jim Kropfeld with the custom of putting ice cubes in his mouth before each race and a last-minute word from Bernie Little. And you go out onto the course in the Tosti with Steve Reynolds. Again, the final lineup. The Bud, the Atlas, the Tosti, Executone telephones, at least those 4, all capable of winning this heat. All 6 boats now up into the north turn with the Budweiser on the inside, slowing down just as Jim Kropfeld said he would. The Budweiser on the far right of your screen. The Joe Ritchie Spirit of Detroit next to him. Out near there is the Tosti Asti on the left side of your screen. Down to the 10-second mark as they come down to the starting line here in Seattle for the 7-Eleven Freedom Cup. The finals are here with a Budweiser in front at the start of the heat. Here we go. The Budweiser in lane number 1. In lane number 2, the Atlas van lines charging hard as they go into the south turn with Chip Hanauer aboard. The winner of 3 straight Gold Cups. He won last week in Tri-Cities, Washington. Look at him scream around the south turn next to the Budweiser. The Budweiser in lane 1 with Jim Kropfeld trying to hold off the turbine-powered Atlas van lines. But here comes the Atlas. They're deck to deck as they now come down the back chute. Bernie Little, the owner of the Budweiser, watching his boat and watching his driver, Jim Kropfeld, duke it out with a man by the name of Chip Hanauer, the 2-time national defending champion. The Atlas pulling away from the Budweiser as they go down the back chute. You see from the Tosti Asti what Steve Reynolds sees. He's in 3rd place going into that north turn as well. The Atlas van lines, the light boat, the brand new boat, built by Jim Lucero, who is also the team manager. Coming down the main chute to complete lap number 1. Chip Hanauer racing in front of his hometown fans, about to complete the first lap of the race. The Budweiser, a rooster tail distance back, in 2nd place. Jim Kropfeld and the Budweiser. Here they come now back to the south turn again, and wait a minute. Chip Hanauer has an arm out and he's slowing down. The Budweiser goes into 1st place. Bernie Little, the owner of the Budweiser, he can see it right in front of him as his boat goes past the turbine-powered Atlas van lines. Jim Hanauer and the Atlas slow way down. It looks like they're out of the race. The Budweiser not looking back as he goes around the south third. There's Steve Woomer, the owner of that boat right there, the Tosti Asti, and Steve Reynolds aboard. You see him going by the Atlas van lines. Jim Hanauer looking at the turbine engine through the air vents. There's the designer builder. What can you say? Jim Lucero. There will be another race in about 5 weeks in San Diego, as a matter of fact. He's still one of the best. But moving on to the race, the Budweiser up on the north third. Jim Kropfeld hoping to get his second straight victory in Seattle. He's raced here only 2 times, both times in the beer wagon. So Miss Budweiser in first place. Let's get a speed on the Bud here in the second lap of the afternoon in the final heat. The Budweiser at 122.2 miles per hour. You're in the second place boat with Steve Reynolds and the Tosti Asti at a speed of 116 miles per hour. Third place, George Johnson at Executone Telephones. You see the 3 leading boats at the top of your screen. The Budweiser, again, that choppy water along the log boom. The fans very close there. They get a great shot of the boats as they go by. The Tosti Asti, hard to beat this shot. You can see the rooster tail of the Budweiser, that boat right there ahead of him. But Jim Kropfeld driving for Bernie Little, hoping to get him his 49th victory as an unlimited owner. The Budweiser making its final voyage on Lake Washington. The boat will be retired. It appears that Bernie Little plans to go with either a turbine engine like the Tosti Asti or stay with a Griffin-powered engine, the piston engine. Third place belongs to the Executone Telephones with George Johnson. He's out of Seattle as well. Many drivers, many boats performing in front of their home crowds. For the Budweiser, of course, based in Seattle with a new engine in there, a new Griffin engine. They replaced it just before the final heat, as they do in nearly every heat out in the West, is in total control here in the 1984 7-Eleven Freedom Cup. Jim Kropfeld takes the Bud around the turn for the final time. Jim, who was very sick last night with a temperature of over 102 degrees. He's been a fighter today, a gamer. The Budweiser winning the 1984 7-Eleven Freedom Cup aboard the Budweiser. Bernie Little and Bob Stile, the owner of the Squire Shop. Steve Woomer getting a hug from Bernie Little. Woomer, the owner of the Tosti Asti. He's getting second place. Third place, Executone Telephones. So the Budweiser takes it. Coming in second place, the Tosti Asti. Executone Telephones, Joe Ritchie, Oh Boy Oberto, and the Atlas van lines, despite setting a new course record in a competition lap of better than 133 miles per hour on lap number 1, fails to finish. For the Budweiser, it was victory number 4 in 1984, and we'll hear from the winning driver and owner in just a moment.
The driver, Jim Kropfeld, the owner, Bernie Little. And Bernie, you stomped through another one on the docks.
Yeah, I sure did. I've walked about 400 miles a day, but Miss Budweiser was very victorious, won all 3 heats. We don't like to come in second or third. We want to go first, and that's what Jim's done in all his races, and we're real proud of you, Jim, and we're just going to keep it up.
Jim, you were sitting in second place about 5 boat lengths behind the leader at the end of lap number 1. Did you notice that something blew on the engine of the turbine?
Well, I really did. Coming down somewhere right out here close to the first turn, I noticed something shiny fly off the back of the Atlas, and right then I knew I had to the race won. But he was running good, and it was going to be a lot of fun there for a while.
It breaks down that the Budweisers won every other race. 1, 3, 5, and on number 7. So odd numbers are in for Bernie Little and Jim Kropfeld. Back up to you, Don.
So, Jim, you and I have been through 7 races in 1984, and it is turning into a bit of a runaway for the Budweiser in national points. The Union Bay Squire Shop, tough day for Mickey Riemann and company today, but they'll be back. Executone Telephones moves into, well, they held on to 3rd place. The Tosti and Atlas van lines, however, move up ahead of the Renault and the Joe Ritchie Spirit of Detroit with 3,168 points. Looking at the rest of the field, the American Speedy Printing with Ron Snyder, the KZOK Machine Band, Oh Boy Oberto Light All-Star, the Kawaguchi, and congratulations to the Kenny Toyota Volvo and Earl Hall. They competed well today as the first alternate and picked up some more points. Well, that'll do it for the 1984 7-Eleven Freedom Cup in Seattle, Washington. Our congratulations to Bernie Little and to Jim Kropfeld of the Budweiser, their 4th victory in 1984. For Jim Hendrick, I'm Don Poyer. So long from Seattle, Washington.